Okay. Hello, this is Carrie Tucker, the Life Breath Coach from HeartFailureSolutions.com's Life Breath Club. This is our weekly meeting for July 7th, 2014. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you took the time to devote your attention to your breathing. That's what the Life Breath Club's weekly call is all about. So I want to remind you that it's awesome to spend this 60-minute chunk of time either lying down comfortably or really attempting to sit up tall with a straight spine so that your diaphragm can rise and fall, right? Any slouching is going to prevent that awesome movement of that breathing muscle and limit your breathing. Can you keep your mouth closed and breathe through your nose during our 1 hour together each week? So it's great to have a date with your breathing. Yeah, once a week for an hour. Yeah, and each day when you wake up in the morning, it's great to spend a little time with yourself, just observing your breathing. And the more focused attention you give your breath, the more you will develop the habit of mindful breathing. So why is that important? Right? Why do we spend this weekly time in an effort to develop the habit of mindful breathing? Why? Well, we love one of the Life Breath Club's trusted advisors, Dr. Majid Ali, encourages us to be our own primary care physicians and to use our healthcare practitioners as consultants, right? He reminds us that slow exhale. We love Dr. Ali's invitation to try feather breathing initially, to play with your breathing. Dr. Majid Ali says, exhale, hold, exhale, hold, exhale, hold, exhale, hold, and just wait for that inhale. Right? Because when we do this, when we relax and wait for our inhale, right? We don't do it ourselves. We wait for that inhale. Then we call on our deeper subconscious breathing, right? We have sympathetic breathing and parasympathetic breathing. And that deeper parasympathetic breathing is our relaxation response from our nervous system. And it's a much deeper breath than we can possibly do consciously, right? The sympathetic breathing is the fight and flight breathing, right? Yeah, that we sometimes get into habitually, just becomes chronic, right? Because there's so much tension in our bodies that we are stuck in that fight or flight nervous system response, right? So we're shooting for relaxation, release of tension in order to assist a return to our normal, natural breathing rhythm, right? So spending quiet time each day, nature is really powerful to call us present. Breathe into this present moment here and now. Nature is really helpful to really empower that quiet time that you cultivate so that it is most effective at discharging tension. I'd love to encourage you to investigate tapping, emotional freedom technique, and tap away the trapped emotions in your physical body to allow more relaxation, more healthy, healing nervous system response. Right? Tension is the enemy, and we want to make friends with the still present moment. Right? Okay, so this meeting space is free to the public. Anybody you want to invite to come here with you or meet you here, or to utilize the recordings that are available. It used to be we only let paying members use those recorded, rendered recordings of our meetings, right? But we've really since rethought, and whatever time you can access these weekly calls, we want to make it our gift to the global community. Yeah, you don't have to show up on time, especially if it's middle of the night for you, right? You don't have to show up on time to still utilize these recordings, and you don't have to do it within a week, right? Ongoing weekly recordings are available to anyone who comes and listens. Just access the recording lives at the same link that the live call live streamed into your members area, right? You can't hop on the phone with us unless you're on time and you want to participate live, right? But certainly you can access those recordings at your leisure. Yeah. Even if you're not a Masters member, a paying member of the Life Breath Club. Now, we want to include the global community because it's really important that we get the information out that you don't have to die of heart disease. Right? And I know a lot of folks become very fearful when I give workshops on reducing your risk of heart disease, when I educate people as to what heart failure is. Heart failure causes a big fear factor. I think even among healthcare professionals, right? They really hate to label you with heart failure because they know what a death sentence it is. But ignoring your pre-heart failure symptoms is not doing you any favors to say your heart is fine, right? Keep doing what you've been doing, especially if you are in desperate need of lifestyle change, right? Your clean bill of health from your doctor is the worst possible development that could happen for you, right? Because you need a red flag. Yeah, you need something to alert you to the dangers. It's very important that you initiate lifestyle change if you aren't eating foods from the earth. Yeah, fresh, whole foods. If it's from a can, a box, it's processed, it's deplete of nutrition, it's loaded with processed salt. Yeah, we've talked in the last couple of weeks about quality salts being important to your diet and processed salts being poison. Right? And, throw away your salt shaker won't do you any good if you are still utilizing processed foods in your diet, right? You're still having loads of unhealthy salts in your diet. So if you're not eating foods from the ground, foods in their whole and natural state, then you are in desperate need of a lifestyle change. If you are inactive, that's what today's call is about. The lifestyle change we call, quote unquote, exercise. Right? Why is exercise so important, right? How much do you need? Is it really that important? So let's take a look at that today. All right? Does your doctor, when you go in and he gives you a clean bill of health and tells you keep doing what you're doing, does your doctor ask you, what are you eating? Yeah? Are you active at all? Right? If your doctor asks you the question, are you active? And you say, nope, I sit on the couch every day after work. I never get any exercise. I really should be more active. And then your doctor gives you a clean bill of health. Is he going to say, keep doing what you're doing? Yikes. Maybe so. Right? But if he never asks, are you a couch potato? Do you get daily activity? If he never asks the question, how can he really ethically tell you keep doing what you're doing if he doesn't know that what you're doing is healthy for you, right? How? Because the lab values say it's all well and good, then you should keep doing what you're doing? Not if you're a couch potato. Yeah. So many folks get a clean bill of health from their doctor and drop dead the next day, the next week. So you need to take the advice from your doctor to keep doing what you're doing with a grain of salt. Right? Let's put ourselves back in that seat of the primary care expert. Right? You've got to be your own primary care expert. Your doctor's advice is an educated opinion. it behooves you to be well educated so that you can weigh and assess the educated opinions offered to you by your healthcare team. So much so that you'll have that gut feeling to gain a second opinion, right? If you blindly trust your doctor, you may never heed your gut. Listen to the warning that your gut is shouting at you to seek another educated opinion. If you get two completely opposing educated opinions, now what? Right? And we have to understand that your doctor can kill you, and that is not malpractice, so long as your doctor's doing what every other doctor does. Right? Dr. Julian Whitaker says that the growing number of prescriptions for statin is largely responsible for the epidemic proportions of heart failure that we're seeing in the world today. Right? So science is saying that statins, cholesterol-lowering medication, do not allow for muscle recovery, so recovery from exercise, and that they drive your blood sugar up. Right? Two huge issues that would definitely contribute to heart disease progression. Right? So if science can prove that your doctor did you a disservice, an injustice in prescribing statins, can you sue your doctor for that? Heck no. Malpractice is doing other than the accepted norms for your profession. Right? Yes, kind of shocking, but something that's really good to take into consideration when you are evaluating the advice of your doctor. Right? Okay, so keep doing what you've been doing. Please don't if you are inactive. You are in desperate need of a lifestyle change. So today let's talk about that activity part of quote-unquote lifestyle change. Right? I think we give lifestyle change so much lip service, we really don't even take into consideration what does that mean. Now folks think, I need to start going to the gym. I need to get up in the morning and jog every day, right? And they don't want to do that. So they don't. Or they begin and they don't continue, right? So what if you think of this aspect of lifestyle change as looking for more fun in your life, looking for more opportunity to play in your life? Does that feel differently? About 10 years ago, a group of doctors came together to rename what was called at the time inactivity-related disease. Right? They just didn't think it had enough bang for the buck. So they came together as a group to gain the respect of the general public. Now, a whole crowd of doctors standing in harmony there together, telling us that to get our attention, they were renaming inactivity-related disease, renaming it sedentary death syndrome. Yeah? Did they get our attention? Not really. Not really. Is that a buzzword today? Because this was plenty of time ago. We certainly had time to catch on by now. Sedentary death syndrome. Ever heard of it? This group of doctors educated us that sedentary death syndrome is something that you will die from. Every other cause of death you will die prematurely from because of sedentary death syndrome. So in other words, whatever else is killing you, if you also are dealing with sedentary death syndrome, you will die quicker. Period. Right? So if you don't move, you are killing yourself. That's what that group of doctors told us. So then we have also folks who obsessively exercise. Yeah. And many of these folks I've seen in my coaching practice over the years, they were hard to coach away from this obsessive form of exercise. Yeah, no pain, no gain. Boy, these folks were embracing pain, thinking that they were gaining. But if you looked at them, if you took pictures of them over time, you could see the deterioration. So when is less more, right? So really taking into consideration that the recovery part of exercise is just as important as the exercise, as the activity, right? There's a book called The Power Factor. That's the name of the book. And The Power Factor talks about doing major work within the strongest range of motion of a muscle, and then taking long periods of time to recover. And it seemed absurd to those in the profession of muscle building, right? It seemed absurd. Too little effort, right? But the result was incredible gain. And when folks could, set aside their bias and really look at the result of the study, they began to open their eyes, right? That extreme physical fitness perhaps takes a whole lot less work than they thought, and that time away, time off, rather than being a deterrent, a deterrent to physical fitness, to being a saboteur of physical fitness, right? That it actually was the key ingredient of achieving this incredible level of fitness, right? So I really want to help you relax and open up a bit about this painful subject, right? That perhaps playing a lot and allowing lazy, peaceful recovery is perfect. Is this starting to sound a little better to you? Is exercise starting to sound like a less dirty word? Let's call it activity. Let's call it play. There's a four-letter word that shouldn't upset you, right? Let's give you a little more good news. Putting your shoes on and getting out the door and down the road 20 minutes every day, right? Just walk in a direction for 10 minutes and turn around and walk back is the most powerful thing that you can do to counteract depression, even clinical depression. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? You want to argue with me? I invite you. Reply to any message from Heart Failure Solutions. Email me at thelifebreathcoach@gmail.com. Email me. I'll call you up and we'll record our conversation and share it with the Life Breath Club. If you can't join me here on our weekly call live, let's argue. Let's argue about it. Depression's a big issue, right? Depression contributes to sedentary death syndrome in a huge way. Depression also contributes to heart failure in a huge way, right? Because depression prevents you from being active. Heck, depression prevents you from getting out of bed. You can, right? So when we rise up and face this opponent, this adversary called depression, and we use the tool of activity that's available to us, then we can win the war. We can reduce our risk of heart failure, right? We can reduce our risk of sedentary death syndrome, which shortens our life no matter what's killing us, right? It's good news. Activity, exercise, comma, activity, comma, play. It's good for you. It's good news, right? Okay. Any questions coming up so far? I want to be much more sensitive to our valuable community members each week. If you want to participate, please enter your questions, comments on the members area post where the live streaming recording feeds. Right? I'm checking there. I'm checking Google Plus is another place that's fine for you to enter your questions. Hi, Usman. I hope I pronounced your beautiful name correctly. Hi, welcome. Any questions at all? We welcome your comments as well. And we're going to begin to talk about the triangle of fitness and how attention to that triangle will help to keep you in the game, will help to keep you reducing your risk of sedentary death syndrome. Right? Will help you stand tall in the fight against depression. Right? It's this triangle of fitness, and all three sides of that triangle are important in order to prevent sabotaging your efforts. Alrighty, you can even reply to any message from Heart Failure Solutions if that's more comfortable to you. A lot of folks just aren't comfortable to put their comment or question out there publicly. And that's okay. You don't have to. We want you to be comfortable. It's very important to our entire community that you allow this space to serve you as feels best to you. Okay? So awesome stuff. Anybody on the phone lines are unmuted. Please feel free to speak up and ask your questions, make your comments, whatever serves you. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Like I say, I'll keep an eye out though. Continue offering any participation you'd like to contribute to today's conversation, and I'll keep an eye out for it. All right, the triangle of fitness. So what is the triangle of fitness? We need strength, we need flexibility, and we need endurance. If any of the three sides, three legs of the stool, three sides of the triangle, is allowed to weaken, then typically injury is a result. So if we don't give attention to all of the aspects of our fitness, then we will sabotage our effort to be consistent with play, with our activity, right? So flexibility, really, you know, we're talking about the stretch of your muscles. Right? We're talking about the I love to really draw attention to your spinal alignment when we discuss flexibility. So, you know, we talk a lot about the alignment of your spine and a straight spine, you know, a minus slouch, right? Sitting up straight, putting your head on top of your spine and instead of allowing it to hang off the front, right? We talk a lot about how that really helps you to breathe better. So as we take a look at our straight spine, sometimes I don't think we understand, well, I know that typically Western philosophy, Eastern philosophy gets this a little better, I think, because it's so ancient, right? I really tap into ancient wisdom so much more so within Eastern philosophy than we do Western philosophy. Sort of a know-it-all, throw out the baby with the bathwater, sort of a disrespect for ancient wisdom. And Western philosophy around this, you know, you see in the stores, I've noticed these lumbar cushions, and they sort of encourage this sway back. I guess they think that's the normal curvature of the spine, and that in supporting that sway back, you know, that S curve there within the small of our back, that we reduce pain and make sitting for longer periods more comfortable. And that's all wrong. It's all completely incorrect, right? That our strength is a bowl of muscle at the bottom of us, right? Our oculi, our butt right there is the bottom of that bowl of muscle. And so our belly, our low abdomen, it shouldn't suck in that belly. Yeah, just as bad as a sway back, right? You don't want to suck in your belly, right? If you suck in your belly, then you push your abdominal, the contents of your abdominal cavity, you push it up into your thoracic cavity, where your lungs need to expand, right? Really works against better breathing, right? Scientists tell us that the better we use our lungs, the longer we live, right? So sucking in our gut reduces our life expectancy, right? And really robs us of our foundational strength, right? That sway back, we stand up tall, we seem to want to suck in our gut and stick out our butt. And what's up with that, right? That this sway back is terribly unhealthy. I love one of our Life Breath Club advisors, a European lady. Her name escapes me at the moment. Doggone it. If I remember it, I'll pull it forth. But she encourages us to sit in a chair, scoot our butt all the way to the back of the chair, and then to elongate our lumbar spine, right? Lean forward and stretch and round our spine to elongate that low back portion of our spine, and then to press it into the back of the chair, right? So that we're actually elongating the lumbar spine and pressing it flat into the chair, right? And then relax. Just relax into that. And allow the stretching and pulling and elongating of this low back spine, right? Then she also encourages us to shoulders are often sagging forward. And instead of just trying to pull them back, she encourages you to roll your shoulder socket forward and up and back. So up, forward, up and around, right? And rotate your shoulder back into its socket. Can you do that? Oh, right? And then just sit there in this straight spine position. It's very strange because you're relaxed. And we tend to think of straight, tall spine as being a very exhausting and tiring thing to do, right? It's exhausting to sit tall. We want to slouch if we stay there too very long. But in this position where we've slid our butt far back into the chair, we've elongated the lumbar spine, and we're allowing the chair to help us to hold that elongated lumbar spine. And we allow our upper spine to settle on top of that lumbar spine, and with rotating our shoulders back to where they're supposed to be, you'll find it probably is a whole lot easier to play with the alignment of your head on top of your neck. Play with that. Pull your jaw down and back. Look up, look down, look side to side. So the Alexander technique is a wonderful therapeutic philosophy, that really helps you to look at the way that you hold your head. Right? Really begins to help us see that so much of the neck and shoulder and back pain that we suffer with is caused by these bad habits we develop as we allow tension to accumulate in our bodies and we rise up and out of this center, this bowl of muscle at the bottom of us. So I encourage you to elongate your lumbar spine. I encourage you to cultivate stillness and allow the tension to be released more and more as time goes on. Practicing relaxing will quickly give you results that you can feel. Okay? And as you get more relaxed over time with practice, you begin to notice that your breathing becomes expansive. Right? So be mindful of that. that there's a bowl of muscle at the bottom of you. As you breathe, you should feel this bowl of muscle accommodating your expanding lungs, right? The bowl comes out in the front and the sides and the back. It's a bowl that you can sink down into, right? No Superman going on here, right? Don't suck in your gut and stick out your chest, because this works against accessing this strength. Yeah? This foundational strength requires a surrender into that bowl of muscle, not a suck it up and get out of the bowl of muscle. Then we've just robbed ourselves of our foundational strength, right? So as we look at flexibility, start with your spine, right? When you stretch and elongate that lumbar spine, do you feel the stiff rigidity in your spine? Right? We talk a lot about the Lady NASA scientist, that brilliant woman who tells us that our relationship with G-force is incredibly important, right? So I've recommended many times here in the Life Breath Club's weekly meeting to every 20 minutes, set an alarm if you must, and every 20 minutes, stand up and jump up in the air 4 times. Let's all do that right now. Stand up, jump. Well, that felt good. If there's any stiff and rigid areas in your body, you likely felt them when you felt the G-force on your body. Yeah? Where does that pain live in you? Pay attention. Allow it space. Let the pain grow bigger. Yeah? Because you don't coax more flexibility by making pain smaller. Yeah? You allow it to become fluid. Yeah, so the pain grows. That's just what it's going to do as you allow fluidity to break up the hardened, crystallized, restricted, painful space. Right? So growing the pain feels bad, but it's good. It's good because it's allowing for this tense, rigid area to break up. To find fluid mobility. And this is how we release cellular memory. This is how we circulate, get blood into those areas so much more effectively. Right? How about your neck? Look all the way to the left. Look all the way to the right. Did that hurt? I hope you went nice and slow. Don't hurt yourself, right? Yeah. Do you feel stiffness? Right. Now, just simple range of motion activity is important. But what we also may be sensing within this awareness, is inflammation. Yeah. Chronic inflammation is the cause of all chronic illness. Right? Inflammation is the cause of heart disease, right? The cause of heart disease is within your circulating blood. It's not the plumbing of your heart, those vessels that plumb our heart, right? Heart disease is a disease of your circulating blood. When it becomes sticky and gummy and dirty, then it causes issue. Yeah, the lining of your blood vessels becomes swollen, inflamed. We can cause little nicks and abrasions within the wall of this lining of your blood vessels. Okay? And this sticky, gummy, dirty blood just causes havoc throughout your vessel, right? Throughout your body. Right? And as we reduce this inflammation, right, through alkaline foods, through slow, deliberate exhale, slow, deliberate exhale that allows a shift of our carbon dioxide, we actually become a little bit more acidic in our blood, which is a little confusing, right? Because everybody thinks alkalinity is a good thing. Yeah, but if the alkaline nature of your blood is shifting because you're losing too much carbon dioxide, which happens from breathing too rapidly, yeah, then we've actually trapped oxygen in our blood. Have you read Increase Your Oxygen, that free ebook from the Life Breath Coach that you access there on the heartfailuresolutions.com blog? No charge. Just download it. If you're having trouble finding it, please let us know in an email, and we will happily help you. And the master's curriculum, where we really get in depth with this whole confusing issue. We think carbon dioxide is bad. Carbon dioxide is not bad until it climbs to the point of trouble, right? That we don't, usually even within Western, in a hospital setting, we don't see low carbon dioxide levels as being caused by our breathing. I ask lots of questions in a hospital setting, and typically it's always blamed on metabolics. There's the word. It's always blamed on metabolics. Whereas, as I really began to explore better breathing and really began to learn the power an individual has to return to their natural normal breathing rhythm, right, then I began to become more and more aware of this self-induced illness, right, from shallow, rapid breathing. We see it more and more in our modern day world because of the increasing tension we store in our bodies that squeeze our lungs. And you'll notice, exert yourself and you've got that rapid, shallow breathing going on. Now, you take on oxygen much more slowly than you lose carbon dioxide. So even though you're not getting more oxygen with this rapid and shallow breathing effect, yeah, you are definitely losing too much carbon dioxide, right? And when your body becomes depleted of oxygen because you're trapping it in your blood from this rapid, shallow breathing, then things begin to snowball, right? You need oxygen. This air hunger that you begin to feel, that makes you want to gasp more air, actually works against you, right? As we allow and embrace this air hunger, this feeling that makes us want to suck air, as we just relax and allow this air hunger, try to keep our mouth shut, try to relax as we breathe in and out through our nose. What happens is this shift to a more healthy carbon dioxide level. And when that happens, you actually free up the oxygen that's traveling around in the hemoglobin of your red blood cell, and you make it easily released and delivered to the cells and the tissues and the organs and the organ systems in your body. And this is why sacred breathing, this natural breathing rhythm that utilizes all of your lung volume, well, the lung volume that's supposed to be utilized, right? There's this residual volume, and you're not supposed to breathe to the maximum capacity of your lungs. That's another bad breathing habit that comes down the road from progressing illness, right? You're supposed to have this little residual space to maintain healthy carbon dioxide levels, right? And sucking in more air, breathing more rapidly, does not fix this air hunger, does not make more oxygen available to you. Yeah, so we've really done a disservice by preaching widely that people don't breathe enough, and the solution to your troubles is to take a deep breath, right? Not necessarily. Perhaps the solution to your troubles is to relax, close your mouth, and simply breathe more slowly. Life Breath Club member Chris Downs got off the heart transplant list, no longer needs a heart transplant. His heart's doing him just fine. He's farming at a high elevation. That's how good his heart's doing these days. Yeah? He found that was hard for him to do, to slow down his exhale. And so he utilized the head bob there, that nod, that vigorous head nod. And quickly he was able to lengthen his exhaled time and grow his controlled pause. That's how he got off the heart transplant list so quickly, right? And Chris really harnessed the power to transform his breathing and thereby transform his health to the point that he didn't need someone else's heart. He could use his own, thank you very much, right? So as we really look at this rigidity, this stiffness, this inflammation that we might notice in the different joints of our body, right? That we begin to become aware that our breathing is a way to reduce that inflammation, that chronic inflammation as well. Why? Because what's the role of oxygen? Oxygen is a detergent. It's a powerful hormone, very versatile hormone, as a matter of fact. It detoxifies. Yeah, it really cleans up your blood, right? It's a clotter. It's a declotter, right? Because gummy, sticky, dirty blood tends to clot. Yeah, but oxygen cleans up that gummy, sticky, dirty blood. It prevents clotting where it's harmful, and clots where, helps to clot where clotting is useful, right? Oxygen is an amazing little molecule, right? And as we, grow a better breathing habit and we maintain this much more healthy carbon dioxide level, yeah, it becomes our norm. Yeah, so instead of coaxing this shift in our breathing, it becomes our new comfort zone, right? Then the transformation in our health really starts to gain momentum, right? And we begin to see this chronic inflammation, this rigid lack of flexibility, we begin to see it just wash away simply by utilizing better breathing. Magical stuff, right? Endurance, right? Endurance is about not just lifting heavy weights, right? Yeah. It's not running fast. It's about staying the course, right? Pacing ourselves so that we can endure more, right? Endurance. Yeah. That's all about utilizing oxygen, keeping oxygen readily available. Yeah, so that your heart is constantly bathed in oxygen, constantly given what it needs, right? If we ask our bodies to do work in an oxygen depleted way, then we are weakening all the muscles of our body, including our heart. So our sacred breath, this life breath force, right? It's key. It's key in developing stronger endurance, more endurance, yeah, more lasting endurance, right? So two sides of that triangle, yeah. Strength. I think so often we think of strength as being fitness, right? But if we build the strength of our muscles without giving attention to flexibility and endurance, then we may strengthen our bicep to the point that we rip our tendons, and we are now trying to heal from an injury that will cause us to lose our strength until we have healed enough to continue our quote-unquote work, play, right? If we don't attend to endurance, we may grow our leg muscles and our arm muscles and our chest pectoral muscles, right, without growing the strength of our heart muscle, a kind of important muscle to grow the strength of, right? Attention to endurance assures us that we are paying attention to that ever important muscle and maintaining its strength, right? So all three sides of the triangle, all three legs on the stool, must be present to keep us from toppling over. Yeah? We've got to be consistent with this aspect of lifestyle, right, in order to maintain our vitality and maintain our health, be it our heart health, be it any disease process, right? Fitness is so key. Yeah, as we just heard, the sedentary death syndrome will make you die prematurely of everything else that's killing you. All right? So there isn't a reason to stop being active, to stop seeking ways to play, stop seeking ways to move your body, no matter what else you're suffering with. Right? Some folks, I've really started out from a sitting position and just trying to move their arms. Maybe that's all they can do, right? Maybe getting up and walking to the bathroom is all of the quote-unquote exercise you can tolerate. But the point being, start where you are and be diligent with your awareness. Right? Observe what you notice with your strength, your growing strength, your growing endurance, your growing or reducing flexibility. Become aware, right? It's really important in our quest for fitness. Right? I want to also bring up, since the Life Breath Club is so is so honoring of this biochemical thing that happens in our bodies that make oxygen more or less available to us, right? We talk a lot about this and how we can help this along, right? Make oxygen more available to us. What I want to draw to our attention, so many folks who are living with heart failure are aware of their low oxygen levels, but so many more folks, really, if you are living with low oxygen levels, you have likely been living with it for years and years. That no one has identified it. No one has proven it. Yeah. No one has documented it. Right? But it doesn't mean that you're not actually being affected by low oxygen levels, especially when you are active. Right? When you are active, you're working your arms and your legs and all the muscles of your body, not to mention your heart, right? And you must meet the needs of those working muscles. And when you're sitting in a chair with a straight spine and taking nice deep breaths, well, you may not have any challenge to meet your oxygen needs. But get up and move, and that very well may change quickly, like from the moment you stand up. I love to encourage Life Breath Club members to get yourself an oximeter. They're dirt cheap these days. You can get them on Amazon. If you can't find one there locally in your area, at least hop over to Amazon and check out what I'm talking about, what they look like. And these are the least expensive models that you can get your hands on. Anything that squeezes your finger more firmly, that has the technology, is contained in a separate unit, right? And there's a probe that goes to your finger. Those units are going to be more accurate. But I'll tell you what, these little flimsy units that all fit on your finger and the readings right there on the tiny unit, yeah, they're not as great, but goodness, those things are powerfully useful. And keep one in your pocket and check yourself out. Are you staying nice and well oxygenated, or are you seeing a real drop, a real depletion with exertion? If you've got that little device in your pocket, that is knowledge, and knowledge can be powerful. It can get your attention, right? So if you want one of those little units to measure where your oxygen level is throughout your day, now go to heartfailuresolutions.com/oximeter, OXIMETER. Yeah, you'll see one model there. Hop around, see if there's something else you might like a little better. But that's your basic inexpensive unit that's available over there on Amazon. I think most of them are around 20 bucks. Really powerful little piece of equipment. So maybe you can identify your low oxygen levels before your doctor does. And trust me, you want to be quick on that. Yeah, you want to be much quicker on it than your doctor is going to be. Yeah? Many doctors don't even own oximeters. They never check your oximetry. So if you suffer from low oxygen levels, you're going to have to be hospitalized with it before anybody's able to identify it. Right? If you're concerned, right? Do you have gray around your lips with activity? Do you have really white nail beds, right? Pinch your fingers. Do they get pink again quickly? Yeah, if you pinch your nail bed, it gets white, right? Where you pinched it. Does it quickly get red again? Or does it stay white for a bit? Well, if your nail beds are staying white after you pinch them for a bit, then you likely should be concerned about your oxygen levels, right? Even if your doctor's not, right? And you should begin to take care of yourself, to be aware of what's going on with you. Yeah? And stick one of those oximeters in your pocket and keep an eye out. Remember that 92% is you don't want to go below that, right? Yeah. Our master's level curriculum, the Sacred Breathing Handbook, really helps you to understand why that is, right? If you haven't become a master's member yet, it's only a one-time charge for $70. Is it $77 right now, or is it $70 right now? I think it's 70. Why is that escaping me? I think it's 70 right now. We've been playing with that number. We believe we're going to have to go to a monthly charge to maintain to remain sustainable. But right now it's dirt cheap. It's a one-time charge, and you get the master's level curriculum and one-on-one private time with a life breath coach. Give me a call. I'd love to give you your strategy session. Just reply to any message from Heart Failure Solutions. If you're out of the country, we can do it by Skype. If you'd rather do it with email exchange back and forth, I'm happy to keep that conversation moving until you've got a plan in place. So we can do it over the phone, over Skype, even via email. That the Life Breath Coach is available to Masters members. Right? Before that price goes up, come on into our community. Right? That becoming a committed member, Masters member of the Life Breath Club also supports this community so that we can continue to spread the word. Yeah, it's not necessary to die of heart disease, even though it's killing more people than everything else combined. Right? Breaking out stroke and aneurysm and how we like to divide up all those cardiovascular illnesses and reduce that number and make us feel confident that we're winning the war on heart disease. It's really an illusion, right? We're still dying of heart disease more than everything else. So really take heed that the prescriptive preventives are not winning the war. Right? It's up to you. And be encouraged, because Life Breath Club members are finding that reversing the symptoms that accompany heart disease is not that hard. They're doing it every day. Yeah? It often takes that strategy session because you don't know what you don't know. Yeah? So much of what I cover with folks in strategy session is in their life, the Sacred Breathing Handbook. It's in their curriculum, but they didn't absorb that piece, or they didn't see it in that way. They didn't realize they weren't applying the wisdom in their curriculum, right? It took that one-on-one time to really put a plan in place, and coming back to this, right? Coming back to the table and addressing the plan and addressing whether or not the plan has been effective, right? So we review until you really begin to develop forward momentum, right? Healing momentum, then the plan is not serving you. And that's what one-on-one time with a Life Breath Coach is all about. It's about creating an individual plan that will improve your health. Okay? So if you want to become a full-fledged member and really support this community as we move forward, then come on over. We're at heartfailuresolutions.com/sacred-breath. We'll bring you to a page that you'll find that doorway into our deeper, more committed level of Life Breath Club. Right? When we really understand we're in the driver's seat, and creating a plan is the only way to change what we're getting, right? Keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. Yeah? The Life Breath Club Masters Plan of Action is about creating effective change. Right? Life Breath Club advisor Chad Kubo, the life dance coach. He reminds us that to create any change in our life requires 7 steps. 1, get still. Then, number 2, you can become present. Now remember, presence precedes all of your senses. But till you get still and become present, you can't really be aware. It's that pre-sense space that allows true awareness. Right? And when you truly become aware, you can step into the 4th level of change creation, right? Which is seeing things with a new mind, with a beginner's mind, a new perspective, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And when your awareness is pre-sense, right, then you are in a space where your mind can be renewed. You can see things from a different perspective. And until you get there, then you're not going to create change, right? But once you get to step 4 and you have a new mind with which to view your problem, you can create, step 5, a daily practice, a personal strategy, a personal plan, right? A daily practice that will bring about the change you want to see happen in your life, right? You intentionally practice that action daily, right? And as that daily practice grows, we begin to see it integrated into our lives without our intention, right? It becomes unconscious. It's now integrated. It's a habit, right? And when that happens, we really begin to see success. Yeah, the change begins to manifest. And the 7th step of this change is to share it. You got to share it in order to cement it into your life, right? Otherwise, oftentimes we get to step six, where this new habit becomes integrated. And too often we tend to slip back into old patterns, right? And we lose the success that was created by the daily practice we committed to with our new mind, right? But that 7th step, that sharing with your neighbors, your family, your community, right? That solidifies the change. It helps you own it, right? So that it moves forward with you. You don't lose it along the path. And simple change creates powerful transformation. But simple change is also easy to forget along the way, right? So this is how we empower ourselves with our plan to integrate new positive habits, is we share it. We talk about it. We invite others to join us, right? Own it. Own your change. Claim it, right? So as I was getting into there, we're 3 minutes to the top of our hour, and I'm determined to let you all get back into your daily routine without extra investment beyond our 60 minutes of breath awareness this week. So let me cover it quick. When you are experiencing low oxygen levels, whether your doctor's identified it or not, but especially if your doctor's identified it, then being active without supplementing your oxygen, preventing it from falling below that very important 92% saturation level, then you are hurting yourself instead of nurturing yourself. So be careful, right? So many of our Life Breath Club members have found that the 2 liters ordered by their doctor isn't enough when they get up and move. Yeah, they're quote-unquote exercising, right? When they get active, the 2 liters isn't enough, and their oxygen level dips down below that 92% oxygen saturation, and it doesn't bathe their heart in oxygen-rich blood, right? So we've got to bump up that liter flow, give a little more oxygen when we're exerting ourselves in order to make sure that we are meeting our needs, right? The hose in the nose won't do it if it's not enough flow, if it's not enough of a dose, right? And then, of course, we want to reduce it back down to a very minimal level when we're not active for several reasons. If you have questions about that, ask on the blog, ask in an email. Right? We're not going to get into it. We're almost out of time. 2 more minutes. The other thing I did want to bring to your attention is that there's been lots of research around exercise with oxygen, supplemental oxygen, right? The research done in Germany years ago proved that this supplemental oxygen is pushed into the plasma. That's not where your oxygen normally hitches a ride to be delivered to the cells of your body, right? But pushing it into the plasma gives your body a boost. It gives your body a little bit of help to stay oxygen rich and bathed in oxygen as you grow your endurance and strength and detoxify. So grow your flexibility while you're active. Yeah, it's not just about stretching, right? It's about well-oxygenated activity actually helps reduce this inflammation and grow flexibility. Not just about stretching, right? It's being active in a way that's nurturing. So I hope that some good stuff came from today's call. We're at the top of our hour. which means that right now you should be taking a look. What'd you learn today? What are you going to take away from this call that you can apply over the next 7 days between now and the next time we meet? Now, what's a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goal you can set for yourself so that you can evaluate if you achieved that goal and what good that goal did you by achieving it, right? What really celebrate the progress you've made by next week, yeah? Or change your plan, right? But please do reply to any email from Heartfeller Solutions if you're a Masters member to schedule your one-on-one time. And let's get your plan in place and get you improving and your momentum growing to really create transformation in your health and your life in the very near future. Congratulations on your progress, Life Breath Clubbers. Please share your celebrations with us. We love to hear about them. And please join us here next week. Until then, be kind to yourselves and everyone you meet. Aloha nui, everyone.